Was? Hä? Hä?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Was?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Es fängt wieder an. Oh Gott. Was?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ich wollte was ausprobieren.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Aha.
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Vor allem der Erzähler und ich, wir waren langsam auf einer Wellenlänge. Wir wollten gegen das System arbeiten.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ich will wissen, was passiert, wenn ich sehr lange hier drinnen bleibe. Es kann eventuell ein bisschen nervig für dich sein, weil es...
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Hey!
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Gar nicht mal so nett. Ich will wissen, was
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Was? Spiel will mir eine Message sagen? Was? Nein! Red weiter! Ich will den nicht verlassen. Ich touch alles an. Ich sehe es nicht ein. Da muss doch noch was kommen. Nee, ich sehe es nicht ein. So. Das macht doch was. Hallo? Red mit mir, bitte. Hä? Was? Okay. Hä? Tick. Ey, das kann nicht sein. Okay. Ich habe keine Geduld. Ich muss weiter. Fuck. Gib mir Kaffee.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Aha. Aber ich möchte nochmal da.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Was? Gibt's hier vielleicht noch irgendetwas?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Habe ich hier gerade irgendwas... Warte mal.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob ich irgendwas übersprungen
Stanley was so
habe.
bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Das war wirklich ein Versehen. Vor allem, ich habe das Schild hier noch gesehen. Ich wollte mir das so angucken, auf einmal bin ich runtergefallen und jetzt falle ich nochmal runter.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Ach so, ich habe nichts übersprungen. Okay. Das war nur, weil es so abgebrochen hat.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Doch, hier, voll viel. Okay, das war, weil ich auf die Taste gedrückt... Ich habe ja so einen Hotkey. Weil ich auf die Taste gedrückt habe und dann zeitgleich ist dann... zeitgleich ist dann irgendwie was... ist das auf mal abgebrochen und deswegen dachte ich gerade so.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wir gehen nochmal die rechte.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Vor allem, warte mal. Ich glaube, hier ist der... Nee, das ist nicht der Meeting Room. Okay, schon gut.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ja, gerade mal hier gucken. Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Was? Nicht lügen. Wenn du lügst, hör auf. Jetzt. Also, hör jetzt auf. Genau jetzt. Okay.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh nein. Das war jetzt eigentlich keine Absicht. Das war jetzt wirklich keine Absicht. Okay, ich falle aber nicht nochmal runter. Oder? Man weiß ja nie. Ich gehe jetzt mal hier.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Ich wollte mal gucken, was passiert. Ich weiß echt nicht, wie ich die anderen Enten kriege. Ha.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Warte mal. Hä? Shit. Da war doch noch hier dieser eine Computer. So. Ha. Okay. Aber ich glaube, die Wege zum Meetingraum haben wir schon alle durch. Ne?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Ich warte
and
jetzt,
Stanley
also,
knew it
das kennen
perfectly
wir ja
well.
schon, ne?
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Was er sagt, das kennen wir.
Stanley
so.
felt lightheaded. butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business,
Ja.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Was machen wir?
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the
Ja.
opposite door, and got back on track.
Ja. Das Pizza durch. Das ist echt,
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to... Oh, was? Da war was anderes. Let it ball... Work harder, hard worker, arbeite hard. Everyone is unique, you most of all. Number of slides on the chance, was? Was? Right at which charts on the same slide, same information. Das rate was? Oh no! The boss application on your boss application minute worksheet circle 20 things you love most about
Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
Ja. Wir verstehen uns blendend. Not travel. Tips. Okay, talk less. Do unbelievable, amazing work. All the time, every day, with no Oh Gott. Ja, okay. Jetzt fängst du hier von vorne an. Okay. Was haben wir hier? Ha! Können wir hier irgendwo hoch? Ah! Ich will hier hoch. Oh! R-S-O-F-R-R. Wieso sollte ich mir diese Pflanze ansehen? Was ist seine Mission gewesen? Och Mann! Ich weiß nicht mal, wie ich...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ja komm, machen wir es mal. Kann aber sein, dass wir... Oh Gott, meine Nase. Oh, meine Nase juckt. Kann sein, dass wir wieder das Ende kriegen, was wir schon hatten. Okay, warte. Hallo. Achso, ich habe schon einmal geklickt. Ich möchte wissen, was passiert, wenn der Balken voll ist. Was?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Nö. Ah ja, stimmt, da war ein... Da war auch ein Wahlding, ne? Also natürlich wieder... Haben wir ihn wieder in den Tod gelockt, ne? Boop. So. Sehen wir, was wir als nächstes machen. Mhm. Das ist so verwirrend. Dieses Spiel. Ah! Da sind wir sind ja irgendwann mal in so einen Gang gelaufen, der die ganze Zeit so, wenn du da weitergehst, dann stirbst du, dann stirbst du, dann stirbst du. Aber ich bin weitergegangen. Ich bin mal weitergegangen.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
Na,
It was a
gut.
stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
So. Was willst du?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ja, wir sind da lang gegangen. Ich gehe jetzt da lang. Ach du Schande. Ah. Was ist das denn?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Was? Ach so! Katzenvideos, bitte! Katzenvideos! Bin ich eigentlich der einzige Mensch, der Katzenvideos noch guckt? Heft.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ach so, das wurde mir gespoilert! Geh weiter. Ach, sowas. Das sind die ganzen Arbeiter? Welcher bin ich denn nochmal?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ha!
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His
Ah.
own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Never.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he
Freedom.
truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Wo bin ich denn?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ist offline. Ja, ist gut. Was haben wir hier? Alles offline. Geht's hier lang? Hä? Voll spacig. Offline, offline. Okay. Tschüss. Was? Mind control is idle awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Oh! Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Hä?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine! Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ich habe eine Errungenschaft freigeschaltet. Beat the Game. Ich habe das Spiel besiegt. Was? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich will das jetzt nochmal. Warte mal. Ich möchte jetzt... Nochmal. Ich möchte jetzt auf anklicken. Was passiert dann? Das war ein Gedicht. Kleiner Wicht. Wir machen das mal, ja? War das schon immer so? Warte, hä? Hä? War das schon immer so? Was?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he'd coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ja. Das ist jetzt irgendwie komisch gewesen. Warte mal. Hä? Der ist aus.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Scheiße!
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Was ist so ein Vogel? Oh Gott. Oh mein Gott. Ja, ich will das Gebabbel nicht die ganze Zeit anhören. Ich möchte wissen, was passiert, wenn ich das mache. Ja.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ja, ich höre dich. So. Boop.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ja, ja. Oh Gott, tut mir leid, dass ich die ganze Zeit nur am
Now the
Lachen
monitors
bin.
jumped to life.
Das ist aber
Their
mein
true
Humor.
nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ja. Boop.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ja.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Ja!
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh, dear me. What's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
4-2.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say,
Ah! Oh. Was war das? Was? Oh mein Gott.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Okay. Oh, ich hab... Ah, da. Ha.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Ah, du bist doof. Oh Gott. Das war echt belastend.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Gott.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Was war denn da nochmal? Ich weiß es jetzt nicht mehr. Scheiße. Oh Gott. Wir machen noch eine Runde und dann... Ah, das hat mich jetzt echt belastet. Ich wusste, was ich tun soll. Und dann 427. Ich so, okay, 427. Ich drücke den Code, ne?
But
Aber
Stanley
es gab
didn't want
nur
to go
bis
back to
5.
the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track.
Ach so,
So
scheiße.
now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's,
Ah.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
Oh, you're
It's
so
clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Ja.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now.
Ah.
This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay. Oh, ja.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
Okay.
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
Mhm. Oh Gott, ich bin müde. Ich muss gleich aufhören. Oh Gott! Miep.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ta-da-da-ta.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
Huh.
Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ah, mein Ohr juckt. Warte mal. So. So. Up. So.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
No.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ich glaube, jetzt arbeiten wir wieder auf das eine Ende hin, ne?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob ich das drin lassen soll oder ob ich das rausschneide. Ich lasse das jetzt einfach mal drin, ne? So, und jetzt sind alle Türen weg.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Ja!
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we...
So, ich glaube, das wird jetzt dasselbe sein wie vorher. Deswegen... Ja, soll ich das jetzt weitermachen? Ich habe kein Interesse daran, das nochmal zu sehen, auch wenn es lustig war. Auf jeden Fall, dann beende ich das hier erstmal. Ich gucke mal, ob es noch weitere Enden gibt, aber es war nice. Okay. Bye.